Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Krista White. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Crow Canyon, and we've got a great product showcase planned for you today. We'll be showing the #1 help desk for M365 and Teams. It's called NITRO Help Desk. And I'll be handing things over to my colleague Ryan here in just a moment. But before I do that, just a couple housekeeping things. First of all, this will be recorded. I see some questions coming in already. Yes, it will be recorded. So we'll be posting this to our YouTube channel as well as our website. So feel free to reference back to that. Also, feel free to ask questions as we're going through. And we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. If there's anything more involved, we can of course follow up afterwards and dig into the nitty-gritty with you. And that brings me to my third point. So this will be more of a high-level overview, sort of a taste of what NITRO Help Desk can do. I would definitely recommend a one-on-one demo if you're interested. I think that's the best way to really get a good sense of how this might look for your specific organization and if you can do everything that you are looking for. So be happy to help with that as well. But before we dive into it, let me go ahead and introduce Ryan Stefani. He is our solutions architect, and he'll be showcasing NITRO Help Desk for you today. We are Crow Canyon Software. We've been in business for over 25 years. We're GSA certified. We're a Microsoft preferred business application. We're a California certified small business. But ultimately, I know it's really not about us. We're all here for the showcase. So without any further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Ryan.
All righty. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to make this kind of quick and dirty. We're going to run through the help desk. First, I'll kind of cover what the application or how the application is architected, where it lives, how it sits. And then from there, we're going to walk through like the typical ticketing workflow. So I'm going to start with the end user interaction, notifications, ticket assignment, ticket resolution from the technician's interface, and then some additional workflows above and beyond incident tracking. So problem management, change requests, knowledge base. But more or less, that's going to be the flow. I'll keep the front end short here. So you're looking at Teams right now. Like you're looking at the interface for the help desk, and you can see up here at the top, like Crow Canyon Systems Inc.SharePoint.com, right? You're looking at my demo site. So this lives in SharePoint. SharePoint lists, SharePoint libraries, so I think the main point here is that this is going to sit inside of your Office 365 tenancy, SharePoint farm, depending on where you're at. So you have control of the data, right? All of that lives inside of your environment. Now the application itself is built using NITRO Studio. So like NITRO Help Desk, NITRO Studio, Crow Canyon. Let me clear that up for you. So we built, we manage, we maintain, we support, we develop NITRO Studio. That is very much a Crow Canyon feature set, tool set. All the pieces here of NITRO go into building the help desk application. So, right off the start, the tabs, the list views, the forms, the workflows, the reports, all of that is managed and maintained here. So what does that mean? Well, in conjunction with the fact that it's living inside of your 365 tenancy, as long as you have proper permissions, you can also have access to the help or the NITRO Studio. So you have full autonomy to go in and make changes to the application above and beyond what is presented out of the box. So I'm going to talk strictly out of the box today. And then, just keep in mind that if you're like, I want to capture, this metadata, or, I want the form to change, or I want the workflow to change, or I want to add this workflow, you absolutely can without having to come to me to do so. Chris and I, we've been working on a HubSpot implementation, and I've been frustrated in the past of, hey, why can't I change that? Why can't I do this? It does not have that sort of limitation that you would see in some other third-party applications. Okay, said I'd keep it quick. I did. Now let's talk about the workflow, right? Ticket submission. I mean, look, anyone who's worked in a help desk before, the first question I always get is, hey, can it turn an email into a ticket? Absolutely. We have this thing called email sync. It's basically taking a shared inbox, pulling a shared inbox, help desk at, support at, IT support, whatever, shared inbox or distribution email you want to use. And it takes who sent it, subject, body of the email, attachments, maybe even the original email itself, parses that inbox, creates a ticket automatically. So look, I mean, a lot of end users are always going to regress back to the lowest level of training, right? So if they're used to sending emails, there's some people that we're just not going to get off of sending emails. So that's always a possibility. It's always going to be here. It's always going to be supported. Similar, same vein, but this is requiring a third-party tool. It's called Twilio. It's a SMS connector. Same principle as email. You text an email or text a number and have that text create a ticket. And send her a name, send her a number, body of the text, right? It's just another channel in which we can create a help desk request without having to interface with, say, like a portal or we'll talk about it in a second, Teams. So those are always going to be there, like I said. Now, when SharePoint transitioned to Office 365 and everyone was like, oh, I need an intranet, self-service portal, well, like the help portals became very popular, right? And it's been interesting. There's been a shift in terms of even the way Microsoft talks about it, right? Like it's not SharePoint anymore. It's Teams. It's not Office 365. It's Microsoft 365. So we've taken this concept of self-service portal, right, which you're used to saying, submitting tickets, viewing tickets, and we've implanted this inside of Teams as an app add-on in the left-hand navigation. So, I made that comment earlier, like, oh, end users regress back to their lowest level of training, right? More often than not. I mean, we got presented a unique opportunity when the pandemic hit. I mean, everyone had to use Teams, really, like it or not. So we all got very comfortable with it. So we found that this has kind of been the way forward in terms of interaction between ticket submitters and back-end IT staff. So it can be anything from, submitting, viewing, we'll get into KBs in a second, but all that typical interaction they're used to having in a self-service portal, now inside of Teams. And when I say Teams, it could be the web version, like I'm on, the client version, or the app version. So if you have users that are more often than not in the field, on their phone, on a tablet, you also have that ability to submit a request through Teams using the app on their given device. So real quick, I know I'm in the middle of like ticket submission workflow, but I just want to talk about this. I'm going to take a quick sidestep and try and stay on track here as well, talking about ticket submission. So one of the cool things here is that you don't have to log in as an end user to submit a ticket, right? I heard that complaint this morning actually, and it's not the first time or the last time I'm sure that I'll hear it from IT staff. My end users complained about it was Jira. They have to log into Jira to submit a request, and they hated it, right? Well, what's nice about leveraging the 365 tenancy or SharePoint tenancy or SharePoint farm, I should say, is that they're already logged in. They're already in Teams. This is just a natural extension of that environment, right? So you can see here my information is pre-populated. I don't have to log in or type in my name. Sounds silly when you say it out loud, but really as little clicks as possible is what's gonna be the most successful, right? So I mean, just having those kind of inherently there is nice. Now, this was an interesting topic as well, like category, issue type, or priority to an end user, right? Like, do we need that? Can they categorize their ticket? Are they gonna mark every priority as high or critical, right? And what does that look like? Can I change that? So I made a mention earlier of like NITRO Studio and the ability to make changes, but let's talk about the forms tool, just quick, briefly. This is intended to be an info path replacement, and it is nice because it is included in the tool set. So you do have the ability to go in and make changes. Coupled with the permission structure of SharePoint, plus additional permissions that we build into the tool set, as well as being able to create multiple forms per SharePoint list, we have the ability to present a unique interface to the user that may not affect the technician interface. So what do I mean by that? They're like, hey Ryan, I don't want priority on the ticket. Okay, no problem. We click on it, we remove it. I don't really need my users to categorize or subcategorize their ticket. Okay, fine, right? No problem. We'll just click and remove it. You know what? I just want them to put in their, I just want them to put in their title, their description, and hit save. You know, the cool thing about that is that we can make the change to the front end, but when we look at it from a technician's perspective, we're not getting rid of those columns. We're not deleting them. They're not going anywhere, right? They're still right here. We're just not giving the end user the ability to categorize or subcategorize. We're going to wait until the technicians get a hold of it to actually populate what type of request it is, right? So again, like, look, I could spend hours on the forms tool, but it just highlights some of the flexibility we have in terms of what we can and can't do with the platform. But yeah, submitting a ticket, super easy, right? I mean, okay, hopefully I can spell. Title, descriptions are rich text columns, so screenshots, links, copy paste, attachments, and then they get the warm and fuzzies that their ticket was created. And then it even takes them to this view my tickets tab. And then this is just another avenue in which they can communicate with the backend staff. So it could be, you know, viewing, you know, any notes that the technicians have left them. It could be adding notes to the request after they submitted it, you know, forgot a ABC or XYZ, right? And in my opinion, it just makes Teams more accessible, right? We even have these fun like custom actions at the top where they can add comments here. Again, we just want them to get more and more comfortable with this interface. And I think having it embedded within Teams and being able to update or see information related to the request through this interface is just going to drive that Teams adoption as well. Now the Copilot. Okay, well, we know where we got it from, Microsoft Copilot, right? You know, so the intention here is to provide solutions to end users. Now there's some different options, there's some different paths you can take as a part of this, right? So there's one side, which is kind of how we have it configured here, which is opening it up to the search like the chat GPT space, giving them the ability to search a common issue and then have them kick back, you know, have this kickback and answer based off of their search. Another option is leveraging this knowledge-based feature inside of the help desk. So this is in a buffed, for my gamers out there, version of the KV article versus previous iterations of our help desk with additional features. Review dates to keep the content fresh, right? I mean, how often have we created a KV article and then it's like, oh, you look 3 years later and there it is unchanged, right? How to update my iPhone 3, right? As well as a review process. So, you know, KV articles can go through review, they go through, you know, multiple reviews once they're created, just to keep the content fresh. Now that search feature can pull from a lot of information that's stored in the KV. So category of the KV, subcategory, tags, just like, you know, any other social media thing that we're used to working with, hashtags, right? Adding tags, metadata tags to content, description, the wiki content itself, all searchable. And then again, with the end goal of providing end users a response to their question. The nice thing about this is that let's say they do search and they're like, I don't know. They don't have to go back to the new ticket to create a ticket. They can do it right from here, or maybe it does resolve their problem. The cool thing is that all of this is stored, tracked, managed, right, in the help desk so that we can report on it for future use, right? So yeah, I mean, I think this eventually will be the future. No, some folks, and I have, you know, I do this a lot. I don't even know how many times a week, 10, 15, 20 times a week. I don't know, I lose count, right? I see this screen in my sleep. No, I kid. But, you know, a lot of folks come to me and they're like, well, we're not quite ready for this, or, you know, this is something that we could grow into, or, you know, can I hide this for now? And unequivocally, yes, absolutely. You can, at any point in time, you can turn or toggle on features associated with the help desk. One other interesting thing too that might be, if you're kind of teetering on that line in terms of, is this something that we want to use or potentially, deploy down the road? We can also use this strictly for our technicians, right? Internal IT staff. So, maybe we're pointing it at KBs. If an end user comes in and we have, a new technician starting, and we have all of that content stored in KB, and we want to make it searchable for them to provide an answer to our end users to get them ramped up faster, training time, etc. I mean, we all don't like creating content, training material. I don't like it. I mean, no, it's writing. I'm not in school. No one likes to write essays anymore. So instead of having to go through and create content for new technicians, it provides an easy searchable database for them to go out and self-serve on solving potential problems. So, quick recap: email, text, Teams portal, ticket, viewing tickets, KVs. Now, probably the coolest one, and in my opinion, is leveraging, Teams messaging to create requests. I think the biggest thing here is like taking a Teams message. I was messaging my dev team earlier about getting ready for this webinar. And what's cool is that they can take my message and they can create a ticket from it, and it's going to add the description of my message into the body of the ticket. So if you get those users that are used to messaging you or messaging you on Teams or messaging each other on Teams, and we need to find a way to capture those metrics, you can easily take that message and push it into the ticketing system. So again, less clicks, ease of use, all to drive back towards reporting, right? We need to add on more technicians. Well, this is going to give us, those hard metrics, those reportable metrics to show to upper management that, hey, it is justified to bring on more people, or here's why, right? A lot gets lost in Teams messaging, and this is just a way to capture that information and make sure that no tickets are going unanswered or unnoticed. So tickets created, right? Now, like, what's the next step? Like, do notifications go out, right? And like any ticketing system, absolutely, right? Canned response, 100%. Ticket creation, ticket assignment, ticket resolution, right? Rich text, emails, hey, your ticket's been received, right? And then this is, you can go in and make any changes, right? Rich text. Now, this is absolutely here, absolutely a part of it. The other side that's interesting to this is this idea of adaptive cards, notifications inside of Teams, both of the end user, the ticket submitter, the technicians, right? In this case, you're looking at it from me as like a technician. Getting those same notifications in Teams. I feel like I work faster, and like you see the little one pop up on Teams, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna write that person back. Versus an email where you like save it and come back to it. I mean, I know we're all guilty of it, right? It's like, oh, I'll check it in an hour. But it gives you the ability to do both. So if I was to go in and open up my Outlook, you're going to see those email notifications associated to the ticketing system that we've been working on, right? Hey, your ticket's been received. Hey, your ticket's been created, right? Same principle. Now it's just a message inside of Teams, right? Again, just trying to use Teams as the interface moving forward, but we still have that link to the past in terms of Outlook, right? So it still gives us a bit of both, one or the other, all our options. Okay, ticket comes in, notifications go out, ticket assignment. Super easy, very straightforward. You can assign based on team, like by category, type of request. You can assign based on subcategory, right? I've also seen, like us internally, we have different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So that's an option, like, oh, I'm gonna do level 1 support. Level 1, right? And who's the owner? Is it an individual person, individual or a group of people, right? And then the ability to auto assign, round robin. Look at the number of people, number of technicians, and then auto assign it based on the ticket count, right? I will say probably the most common way is that, that's open, no, I'm gonna duplicate real quick. I will say that the most common way is a ticket comes in and it gets triaged. Take a look at it and you go, oh, okay, yeah, this is a browser problem, website. Okay, you know what, this is John, right? And I'll take a look at it and I can assign to John, right? Now, the other nice piece here is that you can bulk assign. You can assign yourself. Okay, these 5 tickets, right? They all come in today, and then I can either assign them one at a time. I'll assign this to John again. Helps if I can spell. And hey, you know what? We'll give John that one, and then we'll give the other 4 to Ryan. All these 4, John's level 2, Ryan's level 1, and we'll go ahead and bulk assign those 4 to Ryan. Again, flexibility, right? Hey, I have round robin based on type, different queues, we triage, we have one person disseminate tickets, all possible. Now, once the ticket is assigned, right? Submitted, notified, assigned, we can look at this through a few different lenses. We have the manager's dashboard, high level overview, right? We have different graphical interfaces on the ticket information, open tickets, unassigned, overdue. Oof, gotta update that. Staff load, open and closed, and then we have like really granular metrics here. So ticket trends, tickets by week, by month, by what I have in here, 6 months, yeah. Performance, average time to respond, average time to close, by type, by technician, by priority, right? Reopen count by staff, surveys, slight upward twinge in the voice. If you want surveys, this is a possibility, not required, but it is a feature set in the tool. It's on every nth ticket right now. So what I mean is, hey, every ticket, every 10th ticket, every 100th ticket, a survey can go out, and we're just tracking those metrics by category, right? By staff. Just gives you that ability to have surveys, and then SLA reporting. Metrics around SLAs. So I'll get into this in a second, but overdue, breaches by type, breaches by staff. Again, you can kind of see the recurring theme, right? By request, by staff, etc. The technician workspace is more focused. What am I doing? What do I have to do? What is in my realm, right? And this is looking at things assigned. The ticket itself, I mean, again, look, at any point in time, you want to go in and make changes, you absolutely can, right? We still have access to this form, but I'm going to show out of the box. One cool thing that I like here is this email feature, send email. I equate this to Outlook on client. I don't know if you guys did this, but back when I was using, I'm on OWA now, but when I had the client version, you could create like all the different signatures. Each signature would be like a canned email response. You know what I mean? Password reset. How to add person to benefit, what, right? Same principle, same concept. You have these different mail templates, right? You can free type your own email, right? Or use a different mail template. You send from your own email, a shared inbox, the requester. Essentially all it's doing is sending an email, right? It's just starting an email thread related to this request. So now if they respond, it's going to store it, right? It's just cutting down on copying and pasting emails from, SharePoint or from Outlook into SharePoint, right? It's just a nice way to not have to do that. Keep the thread going, right? Love that feature. Okay. First tab, how the ticket came in, excuse me. What do they say? Who is it? Description, category and issue type, right? Staff tab, who's assigned? ticket source, priority. Okay. Asset, related asset. Like, look, I'm going to take a quick sidestep, quick like pause in the help desk workflow. Ticketing, incident tracking, right? And its truest sense, what we're talking about today is one part of the NITRO service desk. There's requests, service requests, right? Access requests, onboarding requests, asset requests, right? And there's asset management. So right now you can see that we're filtering assets based on John, right? These are all the assets associated to John. If I was to change and I was to say, okay, let's go look at, and this was James who submitted this request, we would see all assets associated to James, which are none. So there is an integration with our asset tracking tool. If you're interested in seeing it in conjunction with the help desk, ping me, message me or Krista. We'll come out and we'll do another demo. Or if you want to look at service requests, the entire service desk suite, let's say. Absolutely not a problem. Just let me know. We'll set that up. We'll do a little bit more personalized demo there. That's why you're seeing that column. Okay. Due dates. SLAs, right? I would say, 50-50 in terms of how, folks that are using this or not using it. Some have already said like, Ryan, I don't need it. Totally fine, right? In the admin section of the tool, this is where we configure SLAs. You're like, hey, I don't need it. Now turn it off, right? Disable it. Okay, not enabled. If you do need it, it's a really simple way to configure unique SLAs for your organization. Default policy out of the box. Hey, no matter what, we're responding in 15. We're resolving in, oh no, I got a math. What's 1440 divided by 60? All right, I'm not gonna embarrass myself, but you guys get the picture. Is that 24 hours? Okay, 24 hours, right? Responding in 15, resolving in a day. Okay, cut and dry. However, you're like, okay, well, what if I have intricacies? What if I want to say like, hey, if it is a network problem, the category of the request that we deemed as a network issue, right? Hey, we got to get on this regardless in 10 minutes. If our network's down, it's hype, it's critical, right? We're going to respond in 10 and we're going to resolve in an hour. Don't care how we prioritize it, 60 minutes, right? Easy. Well, we did that in, I'll call it network policy. Gotta name it. We did that in less than a minute. You know what I mean? I mean, it just gives you that ability to configure unique SLAs. So I made that mention earlier around the, the KBs and the co-pilots. It's like your first response was, I don't know if we really need SLAs. Maybe down the road. I mean, look, we disabled it and we wrote a unique SLA policy all in like 2 minutes. That's how easy it is to come in and make this specific to you or grow as you grow. Now the reminder thing, I would say you can ping them as aggressively as you choose. So every minute, every 2 minutes, I think it's every 2 minutes. Oh no, okay, every minute. Okay, that's a lot, right? Maybe it's every 15, maybe it's an hour, right? You have the ability to set out notifications around any due date column you see in any of our forms, right? So you do have that configurability of notifications associated to SLAs or due dates around tickets as well. And then look, it can be email or Teams messages too. You get both, right? Either or both. Now resolution, this is what goes to the end user, right? So if we throttle back to our notifications real quick, right? When a ticket is resolved, our resolution gets sent to the requester, right? So, where am I? Here we go. Screenshot, copy paste. However you guys want to prioritize that, you can. And the nice thing here is that talking about KBs earlier, and maybe you do want to grow, or you already have an existing KB article library, you can add to it by creating a KB article from a ticket. So it can populate, basically merging information from the ticket into the KB category and the subcategory, the notes, any metadata that we want to capture from ticket to KB, can hit that button, it transfers it over for you. Work log, internal notes, or communicable with end users. But again, this is kind of those ones where I get a lot of questions. It could go either way. Hey, work log, I don't want them to say Ryan is a giant pain, right? We're going to mark that as internal, right? Or maybe we want Ryan to know that he's a pain in my butt. So we'll make it an end user. But this is just another way to communicate with end users, right? Through the work log. They'll get notifications in this case if you update the work log, email or Teams, right? Catching on. But this is just another option in terms of, either noting the ticket or communicating with the end user. Now, related items. Talk about email history. Associated tasks. Think of this as like a parent-child relationship between a ticket and a task. Ticket could be assigned to me. Task could be theoretically assigned to anybody, right? James, John, right? So maybe this is a new user request, and maybe John's responsible for getting them updated into Active Directory, right? Maybe, Joe is associated to getting them a laptop, right? There you go, right? So it just gives you the ability to segment out tasks against a ticket. Out of the box, coming in and adding them one at a time. If we want to look at templatizing, auto creation of tasks associated to a ticket type, not a problem, right? You want to, hey, like whenever a new user request gets created or this type of ticket gets created, we want to auto generate 10 tasks. Great, no problem. Yeah, lost my train of thought. Okay, I'm back. So tickets to tasks. And then the last thing about tickets, which is going to transition me into problem management, is this idea of merging tickets. I think, where's a good one? Calendar ticket. We all have those users, right? I think I'm included, probably, if you were to pull my support team and ask them, like, I submit multiple tickets around the same thing. Okay. Hey, there's an issue with the demo site. Hey, I need you to do that. Hey, I need you to do this. So let's say you get an impatient end user or two, people submit a request for the same issue. They're talking and it's like, hey, they both have the same problem. You can merge these tickets together. So when one ticket closes, the other ticket closes. You don't have to, let's say we're gonna merge this one. I've already done this exercise with this request. So you can merge the two tickets together. Again, cutting down on duplicate data entry. You don't have to go in and close each one, right? The end user is going to be notified, updated with the resolution, just like the normal ticket workflow, and it closes automatically. Now that segues into the problem management, creating a problem, linked to a problem, right? So at any point in time, you can don't have pop-ups blocked on your desktop, sorry. For these next couple workflows, create a problem or a change from a request. Ticket comes in, website's down, Outlook's down, ERP system down, right? And this, that ticket becomes patient 0. And then this becomes the parent ticket, right? So we'll say it's a software issue, and we'll say it's accounting software, right? QuickBooks, and off, right? Now this becomes the system of record for the ticket. Like, why? Okay, well, I'm building towards that, right? We're going to track the work log, everything resolution from here. So let's say the floodgates start to open, right? I was on a train of thought. I lost it, sorry. You can create a problem from a ticket or as a standalone. Like if you catch something, you can also create a problem. You don't have to tie it to a ticket. But let's say the floodgates start to open, right? Oh no, right? We know something is wrong. Something, there's a, the ERP system's down, right? We've identified this. 15, 20 tickets start to flow in. What you can do, just like merging tickets, is you can connect all of these, a bunch of tickets to this problem by just selecting. And now, just like in the merge ticket feature, when the problem closes, all the subsequent child tickets close, all the end users are therefore notified, right? You don't have to go through a one by one, update them that, hey, this has been fixed. Right? Gives you that ability to mass close all the QuickBook tickets, right? Now we can even, the main screen Teams, provide them notifications on the main screen that, hey, there is outages, there's problems. Will an end user read it? Who knows? Sorry, tongue in cheek, but you know what I mean, right? So we can put notifications on the front end to make sure that, hey, they see it, but in reality, in the back end, we just tie that ticket to the problem, and it's like I showed you, it's very easy to go in and add in more tickets to that problem down the road. Okay. So we talked ticketing, we talked ticket creation, we talked ticket assignment, talked working the ticket, problem management, merging tickets. Now change requests. Okay, so going back to, quick pause again, NITRO Service Desk. We talked about incident tracking of the help desk, obviously, duh, we're here, right? Asset tracking, service requests. The other aspect is just idea of change and release management. Different types of changes, standard change, normal change, emergency change, a change advisory board, approval processes, multiple approvers against a change, incidents related to a change, both pre and post change, the implementation plan of said change, right? The whole module of change management. That's an application that is set to release, I think, this week or next week. It's coming very soon, let's say that. So again, like I think I got the green light yesterday to start giving demos on that. So if you're interested in change management in conjunction with incident, service requests, and assets, let me know. Change requests in this world, because I know a lot of folks are like, hey, I don't really need change, or we don't need the full-blown change aspect. So we decided, I think wisely, to keep change as a part of incident in terms of like a lightweight change management. So what does that mean, right? So essentially it's, again, you can create a change like from a ticket and create a change request. I can create a change request as a standalone, right? And it's the best way to think about this is like a way to have a out of the box approval process related to certain change types. Maybe I want to, hold on, find out where I am the approver. Okay. And these approvals pull from this backend list. So this change request approvers, right? It's all pulling from these change types, hardware, software, right? The ones that I've kind of pre-configured, and then you can have multiple levels here if needed. Level 1, manager, HR approval. I think kind of the intention here is just to show you that, hey, if you need to have a multi-step approval process, you absolutely can. Let's say I want to update a CRM update. I want to make a change to the CRM, and we just want to make sure that, hey, someone puts eyes on this. We need to update, I don't know, accounts list. Okay. We just want to make sure that someone puts eyes on this before we go ahead and execute that change. Details, affected components, CRM, costs, right? Risk, testing, training, work log, kind of standard lightweight change columns. And then again, that delineation between like a parent task or a parent change and a child task. We can run it through that approval process. And really, I haven't talked about this yet, but you see all of these sub lists related to this parent list. I mean, this is really why NITRO exists. NITRO forms. I don't know if you guys remember InfoPath. I see a few familiar names on the attendees list. So I know some of you work with InfoPath, right? Repeating rows, tables inside of a form. And this is really, why we drove so hard on the NITRO side, is being able to have these rows inside of a form, specifically related to changes, right? So if we did have to segment out and have approval tasks associated to a change, we could then have a multi-step approval process and have that be permissioned to the appropriate people, as well as have visibility in the terms of where we are in the approval process. And what's nice about this is that since the approval task can be permissioned to specific people, we can also take that and put it in the Teams app. So let's say we want a manager to approve someone's access or an update or something, and we don't want to have them access the back-end site. We slam their task here in Teams, and they can update the approval task here. Now, I will say, I get a lot of questions too about, hey, can I have someone updated in an email? Absolutely. We do this in purchasing already. Basically, it's a choice column. What's your approval decision, approve or deny? Okay, a purchasing send back. And what we do is we give them the ability to see the information in the body of the email, make a selection. We create a unique email header, and that's going to update that task automatically for them. And then any comments they add, update the task, right? Oh my goodness, type. There we go. So again, approval process, lightweight change with the ability to segment out to multiple approvers and how those approvers approve via Teams, approve via email, or even through adaptive cards inside of Teams. So we talked about this already with the notifications around Teams, but I'll talk about it just one more time. Essentially, I think the cool thing here is that we have the ability to really finite all of our notifications to the particular user, right? So it has that, that me permission inside of, a SharePoint that we can leverage, inside of Teams that we can leverage. So we can even push these approval tasks to someone through this Teams interface inside of the Teams app. So they don't even have to leave Teams to come in and update an approval, right? Make it easy. All are available. If you want to do one or the other, again, all possible, right? Okay, so those are click the wrong button. So those are like the major workflows. Let's talk a little bit about some of the ancillary stuff. I think that that's also very important. One of the big questions I get asked a lot is like reporting, questions around reporting. I showed some of the reports, in the managerial dashboard. NITRO reports is, going back to the original conversation 45 minutes ago around NITRO Studio. This is included in the tool set. So at any point in time, if you want to come in and you want to create reports, you want to change reports, you have that flexibility. And okay, like I can come in and make this look super easy, like the form. There's always going to be a learning curve, right? There's always a bit of new tools and what that looks like. But I will say the ramp up time for the forms for reporting is it's not daunting, right? You can come in and take a look at this and create your own reports based on views and X and Y axis, how you want this to look, series of reports, right? It just makes it very simple and straightforward to come in and create reports specific to your organization. The graphical reports. The other question I get a lot, Ryan submitted like 80 tickets this week. Can I send it to his manager? Absolutely. Everyone who's worked with SharePoint, no, SharePoint search is not great. Will be PC and not great. So as a part of NITRO, we have this list search tool. And the list search tool can provide us an easy way to search metrics. So I think I have the search configured on requester. But let's say we want to pull, well, really anything, right? Okay, we're searching the tickets list. We want to pull against a particular view. We want to pull against a particular column, right? All possible. In this case, it's showing me assigned staff and requester, but let's just make it requester. Let's just show my tickets, right? Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to say, I want to search the tickets list. I want to search the open tickets, and I want to search the requester. Okay, refresh it. Search me. There we go. All those tickets, right? You're like, okay, sweet, Ryan, now what do I do? What's nice about this is that it is a SharePoint list. So at any point in time, you can export this information out to Excel, right? Tickets report. Boom, there you go. Okay. You want to PDF it? You want to create a Word document? No problem, right? This is another feature of NITRO Studio. I'm going to say arguably my favorite feature of NITRO Studio, the print tool. Being able to pull data into a PDF or into a Word or, like I said, into Excel. Now, my favorite. This is actually, I think, this is a subtle feature that went under the radar. I think when they were releasing this application, you're like, Ryan, well, I got to go through and I got to search. I got to pull up a search. I got to configure the search just to find one ticket. We've done that for you. So let's take this engaged mobile test ticket, case ID 73. Say someone calls in, they're like, hey, what's going on with my ticket? Oh, what's the case number? 73. And I'll actually pull up the ticket for you based on the search. And we're right back where we started. Right? Again, I work in software. I work in IT. I have these conversations all the time, but I like to do things in as little clicks as possible, right? Let's make it streamlined, let's make it easy, and I really do appreciate this feature. This was a really nice add, and it's not something that Office 365. Oh, I did it. Microsoft 365 has that out of the box inherently, so I will say this is a nice piece just to have accessible and available as a part of this tool set. Well, 50 minutes. I know it's been reading from the, drinking from the fire hose. I throw a lot at you in that time. I do like to cover, as much as possible, the high level stuff. But right now would be a really great time to, throw any questions at me, anything that you have top of mind that you want me to answer. Or you can say thanks and, ping me and we could have a private chat, a private demo for, any of those other features I talked about. But yeah, if you have questions, throw them my way. If I'll give you a second to type, I have it popped up on my screen here, but while you guys are doing that, let's kind of talk about the service desk real quick. I know another promo plug. This demo is obviously intended for incident tracking. But I do want to talk about those other pieces just briefly and maybe some functionality to involve multiple departments or multiple queues into this. So that's not one thing I really talked about. I know we pitched this as an IT ticketing system, and really that's what it is, right? But you may have departments that are network or HR or facilities, work orders, marketing, right, whomever. And how you want them to interact, or can they be a part of the system? And the answer is absolutely, right? Whether it's in their own iteration of the help desk, right? So maybe they have their own site, and so the site is NITRO Help Desk, right? Maybe it's HR Help Desk, maybe it's IT Help Desk, talking about keeping permissions clean. But the wonderful thing here is remember it's inside of your 365, so you can easily pass requests back and forth. Maybe they were sent to IT on accident, maybe they're HR, etc. And then these tiles right here, these are basically URLs to some pre-canned selectable categories on the form, right? A selected hardware request pops up. If we wanted to say have HR requests, work order requests, IT requests, right? It's just pointing that URL to that targeted form, that targeted site, and now the end users can have their entire service desk experience inside of one app, right? Gone are the siloed applications or multiple applications spread out across, different third-party tool sets, right? You got, I don't know, Jira, you've got SolarWinds, you've got School Dude, in all these different places, all these different logins. Now it's consolidated into one place. Users are already there. They don't have to log in, like I said, to begin with, and then it's easily reportable, configurable, and passing requests back and forth. Well, I gave my little spiel, so I didn't see any questions trickle in. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone's time spending this hour with us. Like Krista said, we will be sending the recording out. You can reach me directly if you want. It's my first name, my last name at crowcanyon.com. It's RYAN.Stefani, spelled like Glenn, for those who know her, at crowcanyon.com. Sales@crowcanyon.com is another good way if you guys are interested. And we'll also follow up post-webinar as well with the recording. And then if you want to message Krista to set up a time as well after she sends that out, we'd be happy to do so. Again, thanks everyone. Krista, thank you for scheduling and setting this up, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.